attention. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Week 1 of the MLS season. We are recording a little later than our regular season preview would be, but here we are in person. My name is Cody. I have Robert and Thad. We are the Blue Testament, and we're also joined actually by David from another realm is what it'll sound like. He's on the Zoom here, and his audio is never good. So that's going to be fun this whole episode.
He has extra voice help tonight, though.
Yes, that is very
We'll see
true.
if it's positive or not, yeah.
So let's talk about Sporting Kansas City and the MLS regular season. But first, would you guys like to plug your Twitter handles? Let's start off with that.
This is Thad, and I think it's at the back post.
I
on
knew
Twitter.
it. That's why I wanted to do this, because I knew Thad wouldn't even remember his.
Robert,
I was right, though, right?
At SPKC Life.
I'm Cody. I'm at that Cody, though. I just learned today, David, already making his money's worth here, told me that we are at a 3.8 on Apple podcast reviews. And that is just unacceptable. Apparently, a lot of the bad ones are old. So if you don't hate us anymore, we would very much appreciate it if you would subscribe, rate, review, all of those things you hear podcasts say, wherever you get your podcasts. We would very much appreciate that. Right, guys?
Oh, very much so. I think we're better than a 3.8, man.
That's a 76%. Come on.
We were reading some of the bad reviews, and admittedly, they were all spot on.
We're modest. We don't glow.
But hey, like I said, we're turning a corner now. So, Robert, will you get us started here? The MLS is back. What teams are we excited for? Give us some opening weekend fun facts.
Opening weekend fun facts. Well, let's go back just 2 seasons ago, gentlemen. We had a bunch of newcomers that year. You might think in your brain who they were. We beat Vancouver 3-1 at Vancouver. Did you know since 2016, every first game of the season has been away except for one?
That is what it has always felt like.
Yeah.
Every season
Anyway.
that comes out, I always think that.
Well, this was at Vancouver, 3-1 victory. We had 2 newcomers score the goals out of the 3. Who were those 2 newcomers? Anybody got it?
You said 2 years ago?
2020, yep.
My God, I don't even
Vancouver
know.
3-1 win, 3 goals. 2 of those scored by newcomers to the team. Who were they?
Polito.
Polito.
Yep, and
Gotti Kindo.
Gotti.
And Gotti.
Who was the only backup center back in the 18? That's the tougher question.
The backup center back.
Yep.
Graham Smith.
Beasler and Puncic started. Who was the backup center back?
Not Graham Smith?
Winston Reed.
Oh,
Not in 2020, no.
When did we get him?
Botan Barath.
There you go.
Botan.
Nice, David. Nice.
That was a good shout.
All right, one more, if Cody doesn't mind. Okay, 2016, all the way back to 2016. We were at Seattle Sounders. It was a 1-0 victory. We always beat Seattle in Seattle, it seems. 1-0. Who scored the goal and who assisted?
Oh, man. Absolutely no idea. How many years ago was
Names
this one?
of Fame, 2016.
Oh, I don't know. Time has no meaning since the pandemic started.
One of them is a Barcelona product. That's an easy hint.
Ilya?
Ilya is the
No.
only name I can get out of my
No.
mouth right now.
Lobato?
No. Well, I don't know if he's Barcelona. I know he's Catalan, though.
Yuri?
Nope.
I would say he was gone, so
How many Catalans have we had?
let's see. Cantilla?
There you go. He
Jordy.
assisted on the goal, but who scored the goal? Center back. Give you a hint.
Nuno.
Nuno Coelho. Did you look that up, David?
He's looking at his screen right now for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and by the
But
way,
he's not Catalan. He's Portuguese.
is he really? I
Coelho.
thought he came from. Okay. All right. Well, my fault.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I was.
that's a fine.
All right.
And look at that, the fine jar's
I'll
in
pay
front
it.
of you.
I'll
No
pay it.
hiding.
You know what though? He would patronize the Catalan Cafe.
Yes, he would for sure.
Guaranteed would eat there.
And back in 2017, 3 of our first 4 games were 0-0 scores. Let's hope that doesn't happen this year. 3 of the first 4 games, 0-0.
Oh,
Yeah.
Better than 0-1 losses.
Truth.
good job, Thad. Well done.
I
Do you think we're always on the road because it's cold as balls in Kansas City in February and early March?
It's a good way to put it, like today.
I think that might play a role into it, but I almost think that Vermees wants to start on the road. He wants to get the cherry off the top and then get into being the home games. You know what I mean?
Does he get to pick?
I think they have influence.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think they can say absolutely 100%, but they definitely have influence on it.
Okay, so I was reading, because I was reading all of your guys' inputs to the season preview and your predictions and all of that. And I didn't add mine, but it looks like no one is overly optimistic. I think the highest prediction I saw was 3rd place in the West.
Was that me?
No.
Me too. I
Yours was
picked third.
Yours was, I think, the top. You were like, I think they'll get top 4. But I think most people were 4th.
By the way, I did pick third last year, and what happened?
Very good.
Jinxed us, you bastard.
yeah, we were in first.
I was the problem. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that's about where I'm at. I'm not gonna refute any of those, but looking around the Western Conference here, I'm not even sure who I'm supposed to be afraid of at the moment. Who is good in the Western Conference this year?
Are you not reading my season previews?
Not for the other teams.
Way to out yourself again, Cody.
All right, David, who is the most
Louise.
dangerous? Who should we be wary of?
Well, I think on paper it's Seattle and probably LAFC. MLS is a little different than other leagues. In other leagues, there's a general correlation between the value of the roster and your ability to win. So Cody's garbage Manchester City team spends more money than everybody else in the Premier League. That's why they win every year.
Hey, you can't say that anymore now that Newcastle was bought by the nation of Saudi Arabia. Not even a sheik. It's like the nation itself. Anyway.
MLS isn't quite like that, but on paper, Seattle's dangerous. They, return primarily the same squad as last year, but then they add Albert Rusnak on a DP deal, who had, I think, 11 goals and 11 assists last year for Salt Lake.
Nailed it.
They're good. They're scary. They finished second in the West, and then hilariously got bounced from the playoffs without RSL putting a shot on target.
Okay, well, enough of that. If you're just gonna get on here and start saying RSL is good at soccer, then I don't know if I can let you keep
absolute
talking.
garbage, and they're not going to make the playoffs. But LAFC, in my opinion, had the biggest offseason. They traded for Ryan Hollingshead, who's probably the best left back in the league. They acquired Kellen Acosta in a trade with Colorado, and Acosta's been playing really well. What I'm curious to see is how he plays, like what position they play him at, because he's a fine 8, he's a better 6, but they gave Ilie a big money, free agent deal, and presumably to play the 6. So that'll be interesting to see. But LAFC and Seattle, to me, on paper, are the 2 strongest teams. And then you've got Nashville, which has been built really similarly to Sporting in the sense of they're not spending a ton of money on players, but they've built a really solid roster. And so they were extremely competitive in the East last year. They had one of the best defenses in the league. So I'm curious how they'll play in, I think, a tougher conference. But all 3 of those teams are going to be challenging.
Okay, so that's all very good info and real information and quality stuff, like, and all that. But I would rather, can we just do some word association with our opponents in this league? Like, I just want just guttural feeling.
You're not going to allow us to argue with David? Okay. All right. Damn.
I just want to go on guttural feeling, because just seeing some of the names around these other teams, they just bring up emotions. So without thinking about it, the 3 of you.
Uh-oh.
All 3, right?
All 3 of you.
Same time. Okay.
No need to scream, but yes, all at the same time. What does Houston Dynamo, one word, Houston Dynamo.
Fuckheads. Oh, sorry.
Oh, good Lord. Coming out strong here.
Hey, I can't say that, though, with Paulo there and Jimmy there.
And
Yay, Dynamo.
And
Does it have to be one word?
is fuckheads one word?
No, I'm just saying, does this have to be one word?
It doesn't have to be. I guess.
The slime that's left around a bad taco.
Okay, well that
jeez.
that was way too long. That was way too long.
That's the first thing I thought of. It's orange, man.
They need to be one word or arguably a hyphenated word.
All right, lonely. They have no fans.
Trash.
Man, okay,
They have no players.
strong words for all of them. What are you gonna do with some of these? Like, I don't know, man, there's some other ones that I would also.
All right,
use
fire
these
away,
with.
man.
How about Austin FC?
Joke.
Did I even say that right? Is it FC Austin?
Do we care?
Man, we don't even know. They're
Yeah.
a
Accurate
joke.
partial
blah.
information.
Blah, that's my word. Blah.
No one even had a response. So that I think that's worse than being fuckheads.
I said joke, much like their barbecue.
Ooh.
The barbecue fight is not one that I like to pick. I like our barbecue over others, but Texas barbecue people are kind of scary. They scare me. I don't want to fight that fight. Or maybe the Carolinas either. I don't want to fight that fight.
No, I'm actually okay with the Carolinas. I'm actually okay with some Texas barbecue. It's just that they think they're better, so you got to kind of give them crap.
LAFC.
Gilded.
Flash in the pan.
Gilded.
Bad coach.
Gilded. Can you explain that for some of our viewers that might not know what it is? I know what it is, but can you explain that for some other people?
Well,
Yeah, you totally know what it
Okay,
means.
Cody, what is it?
Is that like their shit don't stink, that kind of thing?
it's one of those kind of like all that glitters is not gold.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Covered in
it's
gold
gilded,
is what gilded
but
means.
it's
yes.
still
Okay.
the underpinnings are trash.
Yeah.
Because like
that's
all
right.
LA teams, they don't really have fans. They don't really have good teams unless they just throw a ton of money at it.
All right. I was correct. I was dead on.
Yeah.
Seattle Sounders.
Slime. Radioactive slime.
Scum.
Both of those are green, and so those are good words, and all alliterations.
Worst pitch in the league.
Oh man. Okay. Should we start talking about Sporting Kansas City at some point in this season game preview?
Let's do it. Yeah.
We're not going to do the rest of them?
There's a lot. The MLS has gotten big. Are you guys aware of that?
14 teams per conference. Yeah.
Nashville, overrated. Vancouver, pitiful.
Oh, he had answers
Nashville, the Yotes now. That's their
ready. Were they
nickname.
all mean?
Yotes.
Wait, maybe I can. Well, could I find one where he wouldn't be?
Portland,
mean?
eyesores.
Shameful ownership.
How
Portland.
about Dallas?
Who cares?
Wait, they're still in the league?
Okay, yeah. Let's
Where can Dallas move to? That should be a pod on its own.
Dallas is a good town. Are we hating on Dallas?
Wait, they have the Hall of Fame. How did they get the Hall of Fame? I don't know.
It's
Money?
in Texas, but like, isn't there like a lot going on in Dallas?
does-
Isn't it kind of happening?
Why does Dallas and Houston, which should have good soccer followings, not have good fan followings?
Because
Oh,
the Dallas
that's-
Stadium is like eons away from downtown.
Frisco.
It's also the wrong football.
Right.
Oh, it's a football stadium?
No, it's just
Oh.
high school and all kinds of football
Oh.
are big in Texas.
Sorry, Dave. I didn't get David's joke at first.
We're here to explain all these.
Gilded.
Thanks, guys. It's been a long day. Okay.
Gilded is a go-to joke now.
Okay. Match day 1. Sporting Kansas City at Atlanta United. That's another one. Give me a word association for Atlanta United.
Aw,
Aw, like A-W
No,
or
AU.
A-W-E.
AU.
I don't know.
Oh
what,
my
I don't know
God,
what
that's
that means.
pathetic.
Yeah. AU is the periodic table symbol for gold.
Yeah, that's what. But is he calling them gold? That's what I didn't want to give him credit for that.
It's Atlanta United. AU.
Oh my God, it was even more simple, and I still didn't get it.
Hey, they signed Tom Dwyer.
Oh my God,
they really?
Yes.
2-year contract to the corpse of Dom Dwyer.
Oh, Lord.
Man,
May he bring them success.
who is he
May he tear
battling
apart
there?
their locker room.
He's battling the bench.
Yeah, That's what I mean. Like, who's behind Joseph in that roster?
Dom Dwyer.
Jackson Conway, who's a teenager.
Man, that would be a trip to see Dom trotted out there this weekend.
And in fairness, Dom was a good player for Sporting, so I wish him well. I hope he's become a better person than I sometimes felt he was here.
All right, Robert, you were the original author of our season preview. So why don't I just give it to you here to talk about your overarching opinion of this team and this season?
Well, there seems to be some difference in opinion in the discussion about the new signees and how quick they can adapt and things. I realize two big guys, the two attacking guys, just came into camp, but
Only one. The other one's not here yet.
oh, the other one's still not here yet. So okay, you got that factor.
He got his passport approved, but he hasn't received it back yet.
Okay, all right.
Breaking news.
That's going to take some time for those guys to integrate, but I think Kyrie Shelton can hold down the fort while he's there, and I think Shallowy in preseason has already shown, that he's in good form. And Russell, if you remember last season, did not have much of a preseason. He came in late, he was hurt, so he didn't really get in shape till later. I think he's going to be good to go from the beginning, but I really have a lot of faith in Sporting's scouting system. They've had a pretty good track record the last couple of years. So Ndembe in the back, I think it's going to be a solid addition. I have faith somewhat that Mari is eventually going to develop, but I think Roussel's a good plug-in for him until Mari does develop in that holding mid.
Yeah,
and I think we're not going to miss a whole lot of beats. I think it's just going to be right where we left off.
The last battle, if you will, is going to be something I think is very interesting on how those two shake out. What Yuri has left, I don't know. Is he even old enough to talk like that? He's in his 30s, right?
30.
No.
He's not old enough to say that.
30. One of the two.
He's
No?
he's like late 20s.
I think he's
Okay.
29.
Yeah, I don't think he's not 30 yet.
Well,
Or at least
yeah,
he wasn't the other day.
I, not to dampen things on Yuri. I'm a big Yuri fan. I think it's just, when he left here, he was viewed like a god, and we thought he would go on to, this incredible career. So, we don't know exactly how what kind of form he's gonna come in. It might be like riding a bicycle when he gets back into Peter Vermees's system. But yeah, the Maori and Yuri, I don't even know if you can call it a battle because Maori can play multiple positions and all that. But I'm very interested to see this position, the holding mid.
Well, from what we've seen in preseason, what little we've seen, unfortunately, Yuri seems to be always willing to go forward and immediately go forward. I like that idea. I think he's got the soccer brain to know who to pick out when going forward. And also, I don't know if you saw that one preseason game, the last one that was actually televised, him and Roger in that midfield, they were a wrecking crew. Yeah, strong on the ball, strong tackles to win the ball back. So I kind of like that idea as well. A little more bite in that midfield with Yuri in there.
Yeah, I agree on that. Yuri is not as good a passer as Ilya, but he's stronger in defense. He's more physical, probably a little bit faster, can still speak private conversations with Fontas behind him. And again, no disrespect to Ilya. I love the guy. But I think this is we still have to see if Yuri is back to where we thought he was at one point, because so much depends on when you're with a different team, different formations, different styles, different expectations, etc. If he can get back to what he was when he was here before, he's got it locked down, I think.
Yeah. Even at Ilya's best, was it better than Yuri's best years at that position?
Yes.
Ilya's best was better?
100%.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, we were in the middle of a transition, too. It became more of a possessive type team when Ilya came along. So
Yeah, that's
kind
true.
of different.
And also, I think we kind of romanticize Yuri a little bit for the trophy win, even though he was not on the field for it.
Well, for a few minutes.
I think both players were transformative in that Uri kind of stepped that midfield up to the next level, and then I think Ilya just brought it up to the next level as far as, like Thad was saying, better vision, better passing ability, and really changed that aspect of it.
Did you just very casually and politely correct me in the pronunciation of Uri?
We've heard it different ways, have we not?
Roselle.
That
Well, I
goes
want
for
to
the
know
symbol.
on this one because I want to get that one right.
Oriel. How about that?
Uriel, I can do
Uriel.
that one.
I call him Yuri. So
Yuri, okay.
I'm not necessarily right.
I've heard Uri, Yuri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, just listen to all the videos.
when I've talked to him, I've called him Yuri, and he didn't correct me. So
He's very polite though. Guys, speaking of Yuri, do you see all the videos that the team puts out? I get a notification. I don't even use Facebook anymore, okay? But I get a notification whenever Sporting puts a video on Facebook for some reason. And I think they put some on there that they don't put elsewhere. And there was one where Zusi was mic'd up. Have you guys seen that one recently?
Yeah.
One of the greatest moments in club history, in my opinion, happened in this video. And it was just a very cute moment between Yuri and Zusi when he was telling him that Yuri's penny was on backwards.
Yeah, I did see that.
Oh, it was just so adorable. He was like, Yuri just realized in this moment his entire career he'd been putting pennies on the wrong way. And was like, oh, what a stupid guy I am.
Cody, what a heart you have talking about grown men as cute and adorable.
Oh, it's easy a top 10 moment in club history there for sure. Happened on the training field.
I'll have
I like
to go
it.
look that up now.
I'll make the clip and I'll tweet it out. We'll get some credit for it. Okay, so we've got a bit of a midfield discussion. What's another part of? Is that how we do this? Is that how we do a quality season preview, guys? Is that what podcasts do? Is go line by line?
Well, I mean,
We don't need to go line by line because let's face it, of the 11 starters, 9 of them are probably going to be the same as last year. 8 in this case probably because Kenda out. So I mean, you got to fill in for him. You got Yuri replacing Ilya most likely. The question is it left back, but I don't think Sweat's up to 60 or 90 minutes, so it's probably going to be Logan. After that, I don't know. I mean, is there any question about who's going to start?
if we're talking about that, no, I don't think there is. But of course,
I
the
was
big
about to
question
correct you
is-
that the striker would be different, but
No,
but
not
Ky-
really.
But Kyrie also started did it last year too. So okay, never mind. I'll shut up.
You know, one thing I did find out or realize today, I don't know if I found out is the right word, but the injury to Polito and the surgery was essentially the same that Madranda had.
Was it really the same?
Yeah, which is a little worrisome.
It's a fine for the phone, Robert. Racking it up today, buddy.
$2.
Jimmy's bounced back.
It-
Yes, he has.
It took him a couple years because he had the surgery in 2018. He got 10 games in 2019, and then 1-2, and then 25 last year. So he was Polito's a little different and always probably more fit than Jimmy was. But it's still a surgery that not everybody comes back from. It's oats something. Because I did an article a long time ago on Jimmy and that surgery, and because they take a piece out of a cadaver and put it into the knee, and they have to find the right size cadaver and all that stuff. That all leads into the timing of when they can do the surgery. They have to have the cadaver that has the right size, body shape, all that stuff that they can chop a piece out and then transfer the meniscus and ligament in there and get it to graft in and meld in and all that stuff.
That got really
Did
excited.
they ask Dom Dwyer?
I don't think he has the same body shape and size as Polito. You would have to look up to Polito.
David Greenwald. I'm seeing in our season preview here, you are the only one that did not predict Johnny Russell as the MVP for the season. You have Daniel Shallowy as your most valuable player in addition to the leading goal scorer.
No, the original text he sent me said, "My man, Daniel Shelby."
My
Hey.
guy.
My
I'd like
guy.
to throw it back to last year's season preview when that Cody, though, asked me who I think is starting on the left wing. And I said, I think it's Daniel Shalhoub. And he winced. For the people listening, you don't get to see the video. He winced. And he was visibly upset that I said Daniel Shalhoub. And then my guy, the Hungarian assassin, killed it
Hitman,
all season.
Hungarian Hitman.
The Hungarian hitman. If I recall that correctly, it was the moment where I was like admitting that I just had lost my hope in Daniel Shalhoub, and it was just I was admitting that it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna say I've given up, and then it'll all be good if he comes back around this year. But I was tired of embarrassing myself defending him the entire prior season.
Well, I've learned you don't read the articles, so I'm guessing you don't read the comments, but I was coming at you every single game thread. Every goal that this dude got, I was coming for you. And I've now learned that you just don't read the comments, so it just
I do.
matter.
Cody doesn't read the Blue Testament much.
Well, I had to stop reading comments because everyone's so mean.
Actually, not on our site.
Yeah, when I was doing stuff for Stars and Stripes FC,
Yeah,
that's either just thick skin or just don't open the comments at all.
Yeah, they are toxic.
That place is vicious. We always like every now and then in our Slack group there's a discussion about like moderating the comment section, but it is like a full-time job of someone on Stars and Stripes FC. Just nonsense over there.
We have very rare problems on our site for that. I mean, a couple times a year we might have to warn somebody, and usually the category of people we have to warn the most is probably Seattle fans coming into our site.
So, David, on the subject of my guy, my man, Daniel Shalhoub, I have always referred to him as, in an endearing way, little brother. And I've always, been waiting for his man muscles to show up, as I always say this every year. And I've just accepted that that's probably not going to happen, and maybe he doesn't need them. But why do you see him being the most valuable player this year? Do you just see him repeating last season? Is he building upon it, and will we have to sell him because someone's going to buy him from us? Because if he builds on last year by much, someone is going to buy him from us, right?
Probably not. He's in the year of his contract, so if he makes it to the summer transfer window, he can leave on a free. He can sign a free contract. But I want to take exception to you saying he doesn't have his man muscles. There's a really good Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman movie called The Replacements.
Classic, American classic.
And their kicker, who was a former soccer player, he was wiry.
I say that all the time. You don't need. Yes,
wiry.
I love that you just referenced that because my entire life I've been using that exact line from that movie. People underestimate me. Well, I'm wiry.
Yeah, he's got his man muscles. He's just wiry. No, so here's the thing. Daniel, until he got that knock late season, was unstoppable.
Yeah.
He was doing it in all sorts of different ways. And so, sorry, one of my children decided to be loud, so I was trying to mute. He was getting in interesting spots in the box. I think it was against Dallas that he had just a fascinating goal where he got a rebound and just turned and rocketed one to the upper 90. He was hitting curlers. He was all over the place. I think that's going to be replicated. And it's going to be better having a quality left back as opposed to Luis Martinez.
Agreed. And now we see why David couldn't be here tonight.
Sorry for that. For all the people who are going to rate it, don't rate the podcast lower because I have childcare issues. I apologize.
I'm still relating from the fact that Keanu Reeves apparently can act. But anyway, Thad and Dan McCown.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Wait. As long as it's not a Matrix movie, he's pretty good.
I will not have
I would
Keanu
disagree.
Reeves slander on this show. I will mute you so fast. Keanu Reeves is a national
Okay,
treasure.
trivia question.
He's a national
What's your
treasure.
favorite
Sure.
Keanu Reeves movie?
Oh, that's very difficult. That's very difficult.
I'm going to show my age and say Speed.
Speed is definitely up there.
Okay.
But I am a big fan of the John Wick movies.
Point Break.
Point Break, good shout there.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe my prejudice is from seeing him in too many rom-coms, and maybe that's just not his thing.
What's a bad rom-com he was in?
The Lake House, I think, is one of them.
That sounds like a scary movie. Isn't that a scary movie?
No. There's another one. I don't remember the name of it. I saw him the other night. It's like, yeah, no.
It's not that he can't act. It's that he's mysterious. Every character he plays is mysterious and just talks and moves kind of weird like that. That's just
every character he plays is confused.
It's an artistic choice, you guys, and he pulls it off.
Still stoned from Bill and Ted.
But the correct answers are Point Break, The Replacements, and Bill and Ted.
Oh, is that how we got on this? The Replacements. That's right. Oh man, Shane Falco, Keanu Reeves. Man, that's such a good movie. And it has It's apparently not a good movie. It may just because I liked it because I was little and the cheerleaders were cute, but it's like it has terrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, which means a lot to me in this point in my life.
All right, but Thad and Dan McCown both picked Shallowy to be the leading goal scorer as well. So, Thad, what are your thoughts on Mr. Shallowy?
I feel pretty confident that he is going to pick up where he left off last year. He's a different person than he was 3 years ago when he went through the slump. 2, he's more mature. He's doing well in preseason. He's going to have a left back that melds with him. He's going to have Gadi Kinda coming back from injury and working with him on the left side. I think, and then he's going to have the supreme center forward in MLS, Kyrie Shelton, occupying defenders. I shouldn't do it like that because I love Kyrie, and that's not I don't want to make it sound like I'm totally dissing on Kyrie. But I think he's going to do well, so that's why I chose Daniel. And he's going to have a very talented, tricky, speedy, wiry, intriguing Cypriot winger behind him on the depth chart, so he has to do it.
Have somebody that actually pushes in this year. That's crucial.
So I think that will keep him at his best.
Good point.
Every single person on this, every contributor here, picked Felipe Hernandez as comeback player of the year.
I did not,
except for Robert. And I don't know, did Issy have where was he at last year, I guess? Where did he go that this year he would come back is the question.
That was injury.
He was injured a lot of the year.
Yeah, he played 11 games?
I guess that's part of it. Yeah, you come back from injury, right? Yeah, that's valid.
I just don't know if he was,
because I remember thinking like, oh, this guy's great. Like that, my view of Izzy is positive, and so yeah, just the idea of like come back.
Negative, but yeah.
I just don't know that he was ever here to be gone to come back. I mean,
agreed. Maybe that's why.
That's a little complex.
There it is. That's why I didn't feel right.
I was gonna pick.
Maybe
Felipe.
that's why you don't like Keanu. You just aren't complex enough, Robert.
I was going to pick Felipe myself, but I wanted to be a little different, so I went with Izzy.
Do we count Ben Sweat? Because, I mean, he wasn't out for us, but he's coming back.
That's a damn good point, David. I was trying to think of who else would even be, like eligible for that spot, and that you're right. That's one that I just did not think about.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about Keanu Reeves movies still over here. I'm sorry. That's
no
where
sweat.
Oh, boo. Okay, what's another? Oh, how about that's what I wanted to ask you about, David. Why do you not think Johnny Russell is going to be MVP like everybody else does? Or is it something about Johnny, or is it you're just overly confident in Shallowy?
I just got a rep from my guy Daniel.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I will go with Johnny because he is the captain. He'll get some goals. He'll get some assists feeding the Hungarian hitman and the Serbian sniper, Nikola.
I like it. I like it.
And Kyrie the bully. So I think I just go with Johnny because I think he will matter a lot. It could be totally somebody else. Like it could be some midfielder that pops off 12 assists and a couple goals. So.
Did you make up all those nicknames just right then?
Yeah, no. Why?
It looked like you were trying to come up with them on the fly.
Well, no, there's one for the Hungarian hitman. But
they were all alliterations until you got to Kyrie. Kyrie the bully is what you landed on there? What about Kyrie the creator?
Yeah, because he's not.
That's good, but no.
Robert has never liked my Kyrie the creator nickname.
He needs to create.
It's more so just in the vein that he would rather create than score.
I get you. I see you now. Okay.
Kyrie the occupier.
Still not an alliteration. I'm big on alliterations, but I'll allow that one.
KO.
Okay. All right. So how do we wrap up this discussion? Do we need to talk about the Atlanta game individually?
We can, but Dan McCown picks Fontas as our MVP. Are we worried about the old legs of Andreu Fontas, Graham Zusi, and 30-year-old Nicholas Isamat Marin?
Are we worried about them?
Are we worried about those legs?
Yes, no, maybe. I say yes because they are old, and they both have a history of injuries. I say no because they both seem healthy coming into this year. Fontas was healthy all last year. Also no because you have two guys behind them that are both intriguingly good, potentially, Ford and Veloter. Robert, I should say.
Yeah.
Because I probably won't mispronounce Robert terribly. So you have Courtney and Robert there, who are both potentially, would be pushing for starting jobs anyway if Peter rotates. So that's why I would say not really worried about it as much as, they could get injured or they could just, pull something and be gone for the year. But
I would love to see, though, by the end of the season, Denby left back, Caden Pierre right back. I mean, as much as I love Graham Zusi, I'd love to see Caden make that step and two young wide backs.
Yeah, I would too. And I do think that it's there was a media availability today, and I asked the question to Peter because we all know that Peter doesn't just give time, right? It's not his thing. You don't just get time, right? You don't you don't have a lot of MLS minutes, so I'm just going to put you out there for the last 5 minutes of a game.
You're going to get it eventually, but yeah.
You have to earn the time. You don't just get it given to you, right?
Yeah.
But I did ask because with Janis and Nikola, the Serbian sniper, they don't have a lot of practice time with the team right now. And for them to get up to speed, instead of they don't have that preseason to have worked with the team, getting them up to speed, I asked if, maybe you're going to change that up a little bit and give them minutes at the end of a game to get them acclimated faster. And he said, that's a good point. And he goes, I probably will change from what I normally do and give them time in order to, he goes, I'm going to have to manage minutes here and do this and do this. He goes, but that's what I'm going to have to do. So I do see those two getting the benefit of some just extra garbage minutes. I don't see that's going to happen with Courtney or Robert. Caden, maybe, because Zeus, he is up there, and AARP may require that we sub him out a little more often. But I think you might see that with Caden. So, hope so. Actually, I hope so because he's fast and he's got some great tackles in him, man.
All right. Go
Dan,
ahead, David.
I do want to give Dan credit. I think Fontas is a great pick. American Soccer Analysis created this metric called goals added, and it's a level of math that I'm uncomfortable discussing at any great length. But it essentially measures your total on-ball contributions on offense and defense to determine, kind of how positive of an influence you had on the game. And last year, Fontas led the entire league, not just his position. He led the entire league in goals added. So MVP Carlos Heel finished third. Adam Buxa from New England finished second. Fontas finished a full goal ahead in terms of goals added based on his passing range, and the quality of his defense. So Fontas, I think, is really underrated. He deserved more credit than he got last year. Not even being, one of the top defenders in the league per the Andrew Wiebe Awards. But, Fontas is real good as long as he's healthy.
Boom.
Yeah. No, I agree. And his skills, we were talking earlier about Yuri maybe not having the passing skills of Ilya, but Fontas is kind of close to Ilya in that passing ability, and he tended to move up a lot more than I was comfortable with a older, not exactly speedy center back doing sometimes. But when you have a speedier Izzy next to you and a speedy Logan to your left, maybe that's not, the risk that it was in some of those really bad defensive years.
I mean, I think it's a given. It's so natural between Fontas and Shallowy and Gotti when he's back, their interactions are so natural. Is Nadenby going to fit into that as smoothly as Martins did? That was something Martins did well. He didn't do other things so well, but he fit with those four well and moved the ball well.
Yeah, no, I agree. He could have been a whole lot more accurate on some crosses. But
Yeah, well,
he did combine well with Daniel and Gotti up there.
Yeah.
I do think Logan will do that, though.
we haven't seen.
We haven't seen enough of him to know this,
Right.
but pure speculation at this point.
Yeah, but Fontes is crucial to all of that. You're right there for sure, David.
Is he right? He's writing in the message here that you owe money for the fine jar again. So it's the third time. You're racking it up today.
What did I do?
Apparently you mispronounced Ndenbe.
Oh, I'll pronounce it the way I want to, damn it.
I'm just saying that fine jar is still sitting in front of you, and I haven't seen any money put into it yet.
And how do you know the right way to pronounce Logan's last name?
They released a pronunciation guide.
Voltaire.
There we go.
The pronunciation guide from the same people who put out Walter.
Walter, yeah.
Remy Walter.
Okay, well, guys, we've kind of missed our original hard out, but I guess it wasn't that hard of an out
Robert's putting IOUs in.
because we're still
Exactly.
going here.
I have no cash.
But I've started our outro music, so we have a new hard out. But how would you guys like to end this first episode? Should we do some quick roundabout predictions for week 1?
Don't be surprised if a Vermees team, because Vermees teams do this, go into Atlanta and win.
That seems like what is our actual record there? That seems right. Have we lost in Atlanta?
We beat them at the end of 2020.
Their first home loss ever, correct?
Yes, that season.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if they won it. I also wouldn't be surprised if they lose it. Because we're at this point in the season, nobody really knows what anybody is.
That's analysis right there.
Look, man, I'm just honest.
We're trying to make content here. We're talking heads.
I shouldn't be honest.
People come to us to hear real discussion,
That
meaningful
was a real
discussion. This is our niche. Real soccer discussion. Actually, you guys were like killing it there for a second. I was just listening to like good Sporting KC talk there for a second.
No, I think we analyze how the players play and all that stuff very well. I just not going to put out there and say, oh, yeah, they're going to go in there and win this because that's what we've always done. Well, that's great, and that does have a history, and Sporting has a history of overachieving and doing that sort of thing. But we're at the beginning of the season. We don't really know what this team's going to do. We don't really know what Atlanta's going to do. We haven't been able to see very much in preseason. So I'm not going to go, oh, yeah, that's the way it's going to
Brad,
be.
you spent so much time talking about Marvel comics in this fantasy world, and now you're bringing reality? What's up with that?
He didn't. I didn't even have to ask him to say something prophetic. He came at me with all of that. All right, guys. Cheers, David. Thank you for joining.
Go rate, review, give us good reviews, whether you think so or not. Actually, only give us good reviews if you think we own it. And thank you to the Vanden Arms.
Good shout. Good shout.
Gotta get Beasley.